Hey, Super Cruisers, it's Frank and Kevin from Cruising with Wheels.
Today we're talking about the things we wish we knew the first time we cruised. We get a question very, very often from you guys, and that question is, what did we wish we knew before we started cruising?
I know.
Right? The first time.
No, it's been 20 years, but boy, if I knew then what I know now, you know, if you're a first-time cruiser, you have never done a cruise, you've never gone through the process, there are so many things you don't know that you don't know.
Right, and frankly, every cruise we go on, we learn something new, or we change things a little bit. I know that,
or they change
things. So we came up with a list of 13 things, which I know people are going to say 13 is an unlucky number, but that's my lucky number.
But you know, I went back in my mind, at least I tried to access what was left. 20 years ago, when I went on my first cruise. And I tried to think of, as I was this newbie cruiser, you know, flying down to Florida and then getting into the cruise terminal. It was an NCL cruise. And I was trying to think of all the things that I saw that I didn't know. Because a lot of the stuff I didn't handle myself. I went with my best friend, Kevin Campbell, and he did a lot of the stuff.
A lot of people just leave it up to their travel agent, too.
Right.
So let's start out with the first thing. The first thing that we came up with was, what is the right ID, the proper ID that will be required by the cruise line to travel on the vessel, right?
Absolutely.
And I think a lot of people flip-flop back and forth, and they take everybody's opinions, and the biggest controversy is about the stinking passport. And we have a T-shirt about that, don't we, on our Teespring. And what does that T-shirt say?
I think it says, just buy the damn passport.
Right. Passport is going to be your best bet.
Now, back then, 20 years ago, and I think we were just doing Caribbean, it was, you know, your driver's license, your and birth certificate, and I think that's what I had.
Well, and it wasn't even, it didn't have anything to do with 20 years ago, because they're still saying all you need is your driver's license. However,
I want to make sure that you have the right birth certificate, because I didn't.
So you want to make sure that all of your ID has the same name with the same spelling.
Well, that's a whole other story, right?
And that your reservation is under whatever your identification says.
That's right. My legal name is Francis. So all my cruise ship documentation and ID had better say Francis.
And all of you honeymooners out there right now that are watching this video, if you are whether you're a female or a male changing your name when you get married, if you're not going to have time to get that ID before you're sailing, you better damn sure put your maiden names on your reservations.
Yeah,
because that's going to be what you're going to use.
Match. Right. I had a hard time in Europe because, again, my friend Kevin Campbell on the reservation, which would have my sailing sign card, said Frank and my last name. But my passport said Francis, and every time we went to reboard the ship, security didn't want to let me on because my ship card name did not match my passport legal name.
Now, the second thing on our list that we thought of is all about timing.
Yeah.
You want to make sure that you have the proper timing for your airline flights, arrivals and departures.
That's right.
Because, you know, even though it says you're going to dock at 8 o'clock, that doesn't mean that you're going to get off the ship at 8.
That's right. Don't think when they go, yeah, we're here, everybody runs to the gangway, jumps off the ship and says, okay, grab a cab and go to the airport. They have to clear customs, and then they usually do a whole layered exit approach in terms of leaving the ship.
And it's the same thing with boarding, okay? Don't think because they said sail time is at 4 p.m., that, I can take that 3 o'clock flight, get off at 3:45. It's not that
was it
far.
10 minutes to the
10
port?
minutes to the port.
I will, yeah.
You will probably come in contact with traffic,
Right.
and parking,
Right.
and a myriad of things that could happen.
Right.
And an important thing to remember is the distance from where you live to where your port is. Will you need to fly in a day ahead of time? Mm-hmm. Like us, we're in Rochester, New York. It's a 45-minute flight to New York City. But it's a couple of hours down to Florida, and we would leave a day ahead and stay overnight in a hotel. So again, timing is everything.
Now, the third thing that we thought of when we thought about, gee, I really wish I would have known that before my first cruise, is keeping my can't lose essentials in the carry-on bag. Right? And not the checked bag.
I know.
So
How
what do we
stupid
mean
am I?
What do we mean when we say those?
Well, again, your larger checked bag is going to be taken from you at the
No,
cruise.
I'm saying what essentials.
Oh, essentials like.
Because this is probably a first timer that's going to be
That's
watching.
true. That's true. I need to keep thinking first timer, which is wallet, cash, credit card, passport, medications, at least a pair of underwear, a pair of socks, a shirt, kind of a change, any electronics, cameras, laptops, cell phones. Those
Bathing suit.
Everything you think, I cannot lose this stuff that you would not put in a checked bag that would be taken away from you in the cruise terminal and put on a trolley and hauled off somewhere to be scanned on the ship and then delivered hours later to your cabin. That you will want it in, whether it's a shoulder tote, Kevin has a backpack,
Medication.
or a little 21-inch carry-on. All that stuff should go in there that never leaves your person.
Now, the fourth thing that comes to mind is about when you're booking your cruise, right? You want to research the right cabin location and deck for you. And it might be a challenge being that you're a first-timer.
You don't know.
But generally, midship lengthwise and midship height-wise is going to be the most stable, in our opinion. So just research and find out what you think you would want to be near.
Right.
What's above you, what's below you, what's beside you,
and
how much money
you're willing to spend. Because you might want to say, but I want to be in the back of the ship in an aft cabin so I can have that view.
Right. We absolutely loved that.
Right.
But we already knew that we were cruisers. See, I think it's a mistake when first-time cruisers do aft or forward.
You could get a bad cabin on the wrong deck and say, I had a cabin, but you know what? Above me was the discotheque. Oh my God, there was music and noise and pounding all night long. I couldn't sleep. And you know what? They could totally turn you off to cruising for the rest of your life. So it's important to seek out information from social media, your travel agent or whoever, or family and friends who have cruised, and get an idea what is the best cabin location and deck for you.
Now, the fifth thing that we thought of was in regards to feeding our fat faces. And frankly, we didn't realize for a few cruises. But the best thing that you can do for your vacation is book all of your dinner reservations early from home prior to sailing.
And that's both the complimentary dining in the main dining rooms, as well as especially specialty restaurants. Now, way back then, I was like, what? A restaurant is a restaurant. Well, specialty, what does that mean? I didn't know. Specialty, oh, they have what? Oh, so it's an extra fee? Oh, I have to pay more money? Oh, there's Italian? Oh, there's a steakhouse? Oh, there's this? Oh, there's French? Oh, there's Asian? I didn't know. And I didn't know that as a specialty you had to pay extra for. So, yeah, do your research. As soon as you book it, boy, get on there. Do your research.
I'm getting a research theme here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
Definitely.
the sixth thing on the list that we came up with was you need to bring the proper clothing for the weather, for the location that you will be going to, and don't overpack.
Right.
Just do your research, find out, quick Google search to what the weather will be
time of the year,
that time of year in the location that you're sailing to.
Right, whether you're
Pack
going
accordingly.
to Alaska in June or Caribbean in December, whatever it is, Google the weather and pack appropriately.
Google's your friend.
Google is your friend.
Next on our list is booking and paying for excursions from home prior to sailing. And this just came up on some of our other social media. It was a Facebook post, plus they tweeted me. If you're not familiar, we are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat, so you can check us out there. But they were asking how come they saw a shore excursion available on their reservation, and the way they had framed the question was, I saw the shore excursion available when I first booked this cruise. I went back in to show my husband, and it's not there anymore. What happened to it? And my answer was, it's sold out.
Right.
So we say if it's something you want to do, you have the money, you can always cancel it.
As soon as you book that, get on and look for excursions if that's what you want to do. If you're the type of cruiser, or I should say person, because again, we're assuming this is your first cruise. If you're an active person, you're on, I want to see, I want to do, I want to whatever, then yeah, you need to book it from home.
Right.
If you wait to get on the ship.
Now, back in the day, this wasn't available.
Yeah,
so when we
way
were first
back.
cruising, it wasn't available. You had to do it on the ship. Now it's a big thing to book it, everything ahead of time.
And the good thing about booking ahead of time from home is that you get all that work out of the way. And so when you board the ship, you know your excursions.
And everything's paid.
Done and paid. Your dinner reservations are made, specialty made and paid. And you know, all that is taken off your shoulders for you to enjoy more time on your cruise.
Now, next, I think, is a good idea for first-time cruisers. I know that sometimes I won't do this for us just because I like to have the surprise and see, get on board and go, oh, but we think that it would be a good idea, and it would have been a good idea if we had done it, is research the deck layout, such as where the restaurants, bars, and entertainment venues are prior to sailing. You do run the risk of seeing pictures of those areas. That's why I'm saying that.
I guess that's the downfall if you want that surprise effect of getting on the ship and going, oh my goodness. But for those of you that are handicapped cruisers with mobility issues,
or just a nervous cruiser.
A nervous cruiser and you don't want to get lost on the ship, it really kind of is no different than researching the city you're going to visit.
Exactly.
It's the ship you're visiting. And again, for those with mobility issues,
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, getting from deck to deck and one end of the ship to the other is time consuming if you're in a wheelchair or with a walker, scooter, whatever. And so
and number 8 that we're discussing,
planning's a good thing.
Right. Number 8 that we're discussing right now can also be linked to number 4. Number 4 was research
the right
cabin location. So when you're researching your cabin locations, you could be seeing where the restaurants and entertainment venues and bars and things that'll be going on the ship, right? So you can decide, gee, I want to be closer, or gee, I want to be farther away.
Right. I have mobility issues. I want to be close to the elevators. So there's a lot of factors that you have to consider based on your own personal
and
life.
we've been on ships where a lot of the majority of the things have been in the and the aft.
Right.
We've been on ships where a majority of the things that we would do would be in the forward. So, like restaurants wise and whatever.
Right.
And we've been in ships where it's been in the in the mid, and we've been on ships where it's just all spread out.
So it
So
depends on the cruise line and
cruise
the
line,
ship.
cruise ship,
Yeah, you really
the
got
size,
and all that has to be done kind of before you book.
and specific to, I will say, Royal Caribbean. Their larger ships have neighborhoods,
Yeah.
and those neighborhoods all have feelings.
Yeah,
Okay,
themes.
themes
Yeah.
like Central Park is very New York,
Right.
I can't think of the other. There's the boardwalk area, which is very Coney Island.
Yeah. So again, you want to
Jersey.
decide where
so
you want to
the
be.
feel you want,
Right.
right? So next on the list is never enough time to do everything on your list. There never will be enough time.
I mean,
ever.
you could have a 2-page list, and you really have to have realistic expectations of the amount of time it's going to take you to get everything you want done.
And no matter what you think, you're going to make that list.
Right.
And you're going to go, oh, I'm going to be up at 6.
Right.
And I'm going to go to bed at midnight. And I'll be able to do them all.
Right.
And then you'll start to do things. And you'll
And
be
you'll-
like, oh, my God,
I
I'm
can't
never,
do this. Oh, I'm so
this
tired.
is work.
This is an extra. I need to sleep in, or I need to get to bed early, or whatever. Don't put that pressure on
And
yourself.
there's changes that happen
Yeah.
when you're
Oh,
sailing.
absolutely. And
all the time.
You'll be going through that massive list, and you know what? You'll be plowing through it like a horse in a field, and you'll end up at the end of the cruise that you didn't enjoy any of it because you didn't take the time to enjoy it. You
I
were
know
so
we've-
busy rushing through it.
We've tried.
Yeah.
And believe you me, being a YouTuber,
Oh,
we have a
right.
huge list of things that we do, like filming the ship,
Right.
taking pictures of the ship, speaking with crew.
So we have 2 lists.
We have 2 lists. We
One
have
to enjoy the cruise.
and one is the working
the
list.
actual working filming, and I would say I want to get into teppanyakis and film. We want to sit down with the hotel director and have a meeting. We want to do this. We want to do that. We want to blah, 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 blah. Oh, we haven't done this restaurant last time. We need to film.
And you know how many times that we've made
the
this
list goes like this.
and we're like, whoop, gone.
It didn't happen. So the next cruise, I revise and I go, all right. And then you get better as first-time cruisers. You go again. Your planning will be better.
So the next thing that we thought of, we still have an issue with, I think. I have an issue with it. And that is planning time out.
Travel.
So travel time.
Ship travel time.
From getting from one end of the ship to the other end
Right.
of the ship, whether it be to get to the stairs, to get to the elevator, to get from your cabin to your friend's cabin.
Right.
It's going to take some time.
And I want to be honest and upfront, and those of you with mobility issues that will have to take the elevator will be a challenge because you have thousands of people on a ship. So patience is a virtue. You're on a cruise, relax, let the bad stuff roll off your shoulders and enjoy. But yeah, it's a challenge because everybody wants to sometimes be on the elevator. But they can take the stairs, and sometimes they just don't want to. Only you need the elevator, and sometimes you're going to have to wait.
Now, I know that after our first cruise together, I really wish we would have planned ahead our finances much better.
Yeah. Well, you live and learn.
You live and you learn. You got to figure out what you're going to charge and what you're going to pay cash for. And I'd say that this is probably the largest challenge for any cruiser is figuring out what the budget would be. How much cash should I bring?
Right.
That's a huge question we get all
Yes.
the time. How much cash should I bring with me?
Do I even need cash?
Do I even need cash? Should I plan? How much can I plan on charging while I'm on the ship?
I heard all about
bill
this.
Gonna
I heard
be?
all about this tipping. People tip extra. Didn't I pay for gratuities already? Well, yes, you did prepaid gratuities, but a lot of people tip extra cash for their cabin steward, maybe bartenders to ensure quicker, better service, or whatever. But it all depends on you. And also the 2 credit card rule that we now aspire to,
Right.
which is 1 credit card hooked up to the ship's sail and sign card,
Or CPAS.
or CPAS, whatever they're calling
Whatever
it,
they're calling
which is
it.
all the ship purchases, and we use a separate credit card for island purchases, so that the two are not combined, because we had an issue one year.
Now, I would say we have fallen victim
Jeez.
of number 12
You
on our
would use
list.
that word, victim.
If you are not a children person or kids bother you, then don't book a cruise during school holidays or
Yes.
breaks. Look at, again, research.
Research.
Look and see at your calendar. When is Easter
Right.
of X
Right.
year that you're thinking of going? When are the school holidays?
Right. And remember,
and-
school districts are different from every state to state. So
Right.
Easter, they in one area they might have the week off before Easter, but in another part of the country they might have a week off after Easter.
Yep,
Stay away from those 2 weeks.
We have a 3-week
When-
period. I always look at when Easter is, and I won't go the week before, the
Spring.
week after, or the week of.
Spring break.
Right? Spring break is another one.
Right. Holiday time, when the kids are out of school, Thanksgiving, Christmas. But again,
Now, eventually
you want
we're
to
gonna-
do those holiday cruises.
Yeah,
so
that's
you're,
what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Eventually, we're going to break our own rule of
Yes.
not going during a holiday time because, frankly, we would love to cruise during Christmas.
Right. We did a Halloween cruise.
We did a Halloween cruise.
Lots of kids.
Lots of kids, but we enjoyed it.
We dressed up. So, yeah. So, again, it's the live and learn and plan ahead. And the last thing is, it's going to be crowded in the terminal for check-in when you arrive, though things are getting better, and a lot of that is because of COVID, the staggering of check-in, the better technology
and
to check you in.
They started that before COVID, which I'm very glad that they were thinking about that
Right.
even before COVID was an issue, because it was very easy to transition into everybody
But 20
doing
years
it.
ago, when I got to that terminal, I was one of 2,000 plus people crammed in that Miami cruise terminal, waiting in long, snaking lines. Everybody, it was more all this manually checking in. And we, oh my God, we didn't even have our pictures taken 20 years ago until we were actually on the ship. And it was deck by deck. You were assigned deck number, blah, blah, blah. Went to this location within this hour or two to get your picture taken. Things are so much different now. So the check-in process and the technology is now more advanced and easy for you, that you probably will now in this time and space avoid the huge crowds. Patience is a virtue, people.
We encourage you to become a regular Cruising with Wheels family member. We call you super cruisers. And so we want you to click that subscribe button and that little bell next to it so that you can get regular notifications of when our videos go live and when we go live. We go live every other Sunday.
That's right.
And we would love to have you in one of our live chats. We're on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, and Twitter.
That's right.
And we have a little phrase that we use to end every video.
That's right.
And that is...
Remember to always
travel safe.
and cruise often.